Hey everyone, welcome to the next episode of the Dom and Brit podcast. My name is Dominic.
And I'm Brittany.
And together we are your hosts for the podcast. Now, we haven't done an episode in over a year. Almost a year. Literally one more week and it would have been a year. Mm-hmm. A lot has changed. A lot has gone on. But today's episode is going to focus more on the next chapter in our life.
I'm not pregnant.
No, not not pregnant. Not yet, at least. But with my job with the Air Force, I'm a civilian government employee, not a contractor. There's actually 700,000 civilians in the Department of Defense.
Good Lord.
Yeah, it's a lot. And I am one of them. Now, with my job, I was on a 2-year internship, and they outplaced me and reassigned me somewhere at the end of the internship. And we are going to be moving in less than a month on March 18th to Germany.
Mm-hmm. Ramstein Air Force Base in Germany.
Which is a huge move. It is absolutely crazy. We'll probably just share the story and then how we're feeling about it in today's episode. But like I said, we're moving in less than 30 days now. Yeah. We got a lot going on. We got to move our cat. Well, we got a cat, by the way, too.
Yeah.
I love her.
He does.
I love her so much.
Yes.
Hey. But so they were trying to figure out about last September, August, where they're going to send me. They want to keep interns, which I was, at the base they're at. However, there's no open positions, and they kept looking across the Air Force for a fitness director position, and there wasn't any.
Nope.
So Ramstein Air Base actually reached out to my internship program and asked if they had any interns. Normally, they don't send interns overseas because, one, it's expensive, and two, it's their first assignment after a 2-year or 3-year training period. So they're a little iffy about it, but at the end of the day, they had to give me a reassignment. That was part of the contract the government had for me. And the lady calls up and she's been trying to help me, trying to help the base, try to figure it out. And she goes, "Hey, so I found a place, and how do you feel about Germany?" And it was like, wait, what? She's like, yeah. So and then she started telling me about the position. It's going to be a youth sports manager position. You'd be in charge of the sports and season programs for the youth, basically the military members' children on base between 3 and 18 years old, mm-hmm. the fitness and youth program. Mm-hmm. And I'm just sitting there like, what the heck is happening? Because I was so questioning it because they tell us from the get-go in this internship, don't expect to go overseas. We don't send anyone overseas. Yep. And apparently I'm the first one in years in this internship program. So I'm like, okay, well, she's like, take some time, talk to who you need to talk to. Because I'm like, what the heck? This is out of nowhere. So I immediately called Brittany. And what were you thinking when I first told you what had happened?
My initial thought was, we're not going to Germany. We're not. Germany? No. Because it was, what Dom didn't mention before, too, is that at first I did offer him the position in LA.
Oh, that's right.
And
that was in June last year.
That was in June of last year.
That's right. I forgot.
And so what we decided from then on is like, okay, so if we're staying in LA, then we're going to move closer to work because Dom had been commuting from the Valley to LA. Those of you who don't live in California, that can be a very, very trying commute, especially on the way home. It could be like, we're 20 minutes away from his job. Well, we were 20 minutes away from his job.
Without traffic.
Yeah. But then with traffic coming back, it's about an hour and a half, which is crazy. But that's with traffic because that's LA. So we were thinking of moving down there. And I was unhappy at my job anyway. And so I looked for a new job. I got a new job that I was in love with. Coworkers were amazing. Managers were amazing. Benefits were great. Like, I was so happy. And so actually, I think after that interview, Dom tells me that he's like, so they made a mistake. Technically, they shouldn't have offered me the position in LA because it's not available. And I was like, well, I'm still I'm going to be faithful and say we're staying in LA. So I get the job. I'm there for what? Like not even a month.
Not even a month, yeah.
Not even a month. I think he called me about this maybe 2 or 3 weeks after I started.
Yeah, she just started this job, and I'm literally telling her, you're going to have to move away from Germany.
So I was like, my initial thought was like, no, we're staying in LA. They said it's a possibility, but really, like he said before, they told us don't expect to go overseas. So I was like, okay, well, we're not going overseas. Yeah, I pretty much sat there in disbelief for a while and kept just saying, we're not going to Germany. He's like, but if we have to go, how would you feel about it? And I just start crying. He can't tell. I'm like, we're on the phone. I'm at work 2 minutes away from him, by the way.
Oh yeah, she literally found a job less than 2 minute drive around, like literally around words, right around the corner from base.
15-minute walk. I would walk over to his job sometimes. Like that's how close we were together. That's why I was like, God is putting us in LA. We're staying in LA, right? We're not going to Germany. Mm-hmm. And then this happened. So it was like, I just bawled my eyes out. Mind you, this is on 5 minutes before I'm supposed to go back in.
Yes.
For my lunch. So I'm trying to play it cool. In my job, I would talk to people and help them out when they're looking for jobs. And so I was kind of like the tech person, the person you call like, oh, I forgot my password to my account and stuff like that. So I have to be on the phone. And I'm trying not to bawl my eyes out because I was like, I actually love this job. I love the people here. And then I remember we used to take a commuter bus and I just sat next to him on the bus and I just looked at him and I was like, we're not going to Germany. And he's like, we might have to go to Germany. I was like, we're not going to Germany. And then a couple of days later, they sent the offer letter. And I was like, oh, we're going to Germany. We're going to Germany.
They sent the offer letter because I told them we'll take the position. Because we asked a lot of people. We got a lot of advice from counselors or people who are mentors in our life, and everyone said go. Like every single person,
except for 2 people.
Except for 2 people, but the vast majority of people were telling us to go. It's a once in a lifetime opportunity. The government would be paying for the move.
Yep.
While we're there, we're not paying rent.
Nope.
The government was, since you're overseas as a civilian employee, and even for military doesn't pay rent in general. But for civilians overseas, they don't pay rent, and you don't pay your utilities. So on top of that, you're just working, doing your civil service, and then and we will be living in Germany. My dad was like, "Yeah, go so we can come visit you." I'm like, "You're not gonna miss me?" He's like, I mean, I will, but we get to come visit you. Just so selfish about it all. But yeah, we got a lot of advice, and people just told us to go, and it made it feel so much easier just saying yes. And 2, in a way, I don't really have a choice because of my contract. I need to do at least 3 years of civil service, and the government's paying back my student loans. And this is part of the 3 years. So with going, it's partial, hey, you're paying off your loans. I'm still on contract there, but at the same time, we'll only be there 36 months. So 3 to 5 years. It's a 3-year tour. It can get extended by the base up to 2 years. You're not supposed to stay overseas over 5 years. That's like a government rule. But it was just crazy because this was all last October. And in that process, they were trying to get us the paperwork. Everything went crazy.
The government shut down.
Because of the government shutdown, they took a while for my background checks, because since I'll be working with kids, they have to do more extensive ones. Which, yeah, it was just a lot of hassle over the past couple months. We were supposed to be in Germany in the end of January, but because of just different issues and the holidays and the shutdown, it got extended to the middle of March.
And it's funny too, because if you look at our paperwork, you see the dates as November, December when these things were signed. Yeah. And we still hadn't gotten we didn't get completely everything until this time around. Mm-hmm. But it was like, okay, so here's your entrance into duty date. You usually travel the next day, even though we didn't have the exact, you're traveling this day. So we thought we were going at the end of January because we had pretty much everything else. Yeah. Except the fun part. Our passports.
Yes.
You kind of need those to get out of the country, right?
Yeah.
And for some odd reason,
they weren't ready.
Nope.
I think it genuinely was the shutdown that kind of screwed it all up and everything. But
and the holidays.
Yeah, the holidays hit. It was just a bad timing all around. I know over in Germany they want me there. They reached out to the internship program asking for somebody to see if they can fill this position. So I'm getting the vibe that they haven't really had somebody for a while. But I actually at my base that I'm at now, I've met a couple people who just came from Ramstein. They came from the same squadron or flight that I'll be in, the youth program's flight. So it's just weird how everything seems to be lining up. Like, it's been so smooth and not so smooth. It's just this weird feeling because the people I've been talking to about the base, everyone wants to go.
Yes.
It's one of the most sought after assignments in the entire Air Force.
Yes.
And on top of that, we've only heard good things. Like, I've heard good things from military. I've heard good things from civilians who've also been over there as well. And there's a church community that we're a part of. So we have a sister church over there of like 20 people. Mm-hmm. So we'll have, and my old roommate from college is actually stationed there right now. So like going in, we'll already have a support network. We'll already have people that we know on base, which is probably one of the best things for us. Especially because we've never lived outside of California.
We've never even traveled outside of the country.
I've been to Mexico for like 6 hours, but that was about it. Okay,
so I'm the only one who's never been out of the country.
I mean, it barely counts.
But you still went out.
it was barely counting. Anyway, so that's what's going on. Like that's the big change in our life right now. And in this whole process, I think we've been learning a lot. There's been a lot of different things that have come up over the past year that we kind of just want to share over the next, a few years, because this podcast isn't going to just be, Dom and Brit are in Germany podcast. We're going to be sharing a lot about what we're learning as we're going through this transition, especially living in a different country. We also have a backlog of topics we want to talk about and just share our life because a lot has happened over the past year.
A lot. When they say a lot changes in a year, you really have no idea.
Yeah.
A lot of things have happened in the past year that was really hard on both of us.
Yeah.
And then, like, during part of that hard time, you threw in, okay, you're moving to Germany. And then on top of that, it was like, okay, you need to figure out how to get your life together so you can go to Germany. Like, one thing is, like, I went in at least 3 weeks of time to spend time with, like, friends and family before we left. And so I left my job at the end of December thinking we're leaving on the 22nd of January. And we didn't. So we had also put in the 30 days notice to our apartment. So we had to end up moving out. And now we are living with his parents. As you could see, this doesn't look like our usual setting, does it? Oh, you've never seen our setting before. Never mind. But
I was going to show you the room, but I realized it's pretty messy.
Yeah.
This is our lives. Here, I'll just show it real quick.
No.
That's our lives.
No.
Boo-boo. This is realness. Authenticity. This is us right now. On our cat tree. Hope you enjoyed that little glimpse. That's literally our lives right now. It's just kind of all our stuff are in boxes downstairs. Like, it's crazy. I'm just really grateful for my parents being just grateful that they have a house in an area where it's pretty cheap living, so they can have a house big enough where they can house our stuff and us for over a month and a half. My mom is such a trooper because she's allergic to cats, and we have our cat. Like, I don't know, just things have been working out so well with this whole move, and at the same time, not. But
yeah, I was gonna say,
but we've been really taken care of, I think, and just in hindsight, just like reflecting, been really taken care of and learning a lot through this whole process, which we would love to share with you over the coming weeks and years. So yeah, anything else you want to talk about?
I don't know. Are we making that another like podcast? Are we?
Yeah, why not? We'll save it for later.
Okay, we'll save a lot for later.
Yeah, there's a lot to talk about. Anywho, thank you so much for watching, listening on whatever platform. Please like, subscribe, and rate and review the podcast and or the vlog. We're going to start putting this on YouTube as well. so you can be with us along on the journey. You can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at DomBritPod, right?
I'd have to check that.
We'd have to double check that. We'll put links in the description below.
I can check.
Look at the links in the description. We'll definitely link our Instagram and our Twitter. And you want to follow the Instagram because we're going to be in Germany. We're going to be taking a bunch of pictures.
But we're not only going to be in Germany. We, as a Disney fan, it's kind of hilarious. I really feel like God knew where to put me because we're only going to be a 3-hour train ride away from Disneyland Paris. And I'm a huge Disney nerd.
So, yeah. We're going to have to go to Disneyland a lot.
Yes, we're gonna have passes because I need it. But it's hilarious how I was looking at that and he's like, oh yeah, we're gonna be like a 3-hour train ride, 5-hour drive from Disneyland Paris, and I was like, okay, yeah, so all right, this is fine. But so we're gonna be doing that. We're gonna be in Paris. We're not only gonna be in Paris, but we're gonna try to go to Italy. We're gonna travel all around Germany. Like honestly, where we're at is a pretty nice spot. Like a lot of people, when I tell them where we're going to be or I show them on a map, they're like, you're in the middle of literally everything, which we are. And so we're going to be updating our Instagram and our Twitter with that. So yeah, definitely like subscribe. This vlog thing is very new. So I hope you enjoyed today's. And what do you got to say to that?
Love you guys. Have a good one.
Good night.
Auf Wiedersehen. I'm learning.